Hey everybody, my name is Jesse Grossbull and welcome to the JesseAF show. Today is Monday, April 22nd, 2019, episode 71 of my daily podcast. Yeah, that's right, daily. That means every single day I'll be posting a new episode. So please check in tomorrow for my next episode. I'm on Google Play Music, Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, and YouTube. So if you have any of those platforms, please consider subscribing. That way you get notifications for whenever I post a new episode. Today I'm going to be talking about how fast our brain moves and why we slow ourselves down. Well, it's nuts, but our brain works so fast that we don't even understand how fast it works when we are thinking or when we're speaking. It is moving faster than how I'm speaking right now, and when people are talking and they try to keep track of what they're saying, they actually speak slower because, my phone just moved. They speak slower because, guess what? They're trying to understand what they're saying, and they're like, am I saying the right thing? Am I? And that predicament, it's just like, okay, you don't have any faith in yourself, so you're going to speak as slow as possible. That way you're actually thinking about every single word that comes out of your mouth, and that way you're monetizing what you say, and it doesn't sound great. It sounds like, why would you ever speak like that? Because you're just kind of limiting yourself. But at the same time, I am thinking so far ahead that I know exactly what I'm saying, and I know that I'm not going to be throwing myself under the bus if I say something that would be wrong. And you have to kind of look at life like that. You have to be like, why is my brain working so fast that it's working so fast, and I'm thinking so fast that I don't know what to say next, like internally. I don't know what to say next for myself, but my brain knows what to say next. If you think about it, your brain moves so fast that when you are in an impaired state of mind, if you are drunk, let's say, if you are in that type of mindset and you are thinking about something, and you are, let's just go into moving around your environment when you're drunk. So when you're in your environment, you are moving a lot slower. You can visually see that you're moving a lot slower because your vision is moving a lot slower. But your brain is thinking so far ahead that you feel like the whole world is going all over the place because your brain is all over the place. It's like, what's going on right now? What's going on with me? And your brain is trying to catch up all the time, and that's why people get nauseous and they throw up when they're drunk, because their brain doesn't know where to go. And it's really interesting thinking about it like that. And your brain works so fast, and when you try to keep up with your brain, it's just a game that you're never going to win. In this endless game of just, I don't know what to do next kind of thing, it's just like an uphill battle. But when you start speaking exactly what you feel at the moment that you feel it, and you just keep on speaking, then guess what? You don't have any problems, and you just talk fast, and you get to the point fast, and you make a much more worthwhile conversation. Meanwhile, when you're really trying to think about what you're saying, you're just messing it all up. Right now, I am playing games with myself, and I am literally slowing myself down, and I am speeding myself up, and I'm like, what am I going to say next? But at the same time, I do that a lot during this podcast. I slow myself down with how I speak because I think too much about what I'm going to say, and then in turn, that screws up the episode. I talk way too slow, and then I have to chop it, piece it all together, get really compressed. That way it's not long and drawn out and 15 minutes long. I've had that before where it's 15 minutes long and I'm trying to compress it all the way down to 14 minutes. I'm trying to lose a whole minute. Maybe it's 16 minutes one day. And it's like, how do I compress it that much? Well, you have to cut every little pause that I make. And I have to make those cuts so many times that it's just like chop, 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 chop. Every single minute is just like 5 different chops. And it's like, how do you even keep track of film at that point? And it's ugly. You don't want to be chopping all the time because that's just an ugly timeline of your production. And you don't want an ugly timeline. I mean, you want something nice. You don't want something where it's like chop, 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 and your viewers just like, why are they cutting so many times? Are they losing their train of thought? And it's like, no, they're not. They're definitely not. They're going through because they're going too slow. And technically, I did lose my train of thought. I don't know why it's weird for me to say that. It feels like it's not the right word to say, or the right phrase to say. Or whatever, it doesn't matter. The point is that your brain works so fast that it computes everything that you see every single day, and you will be able to remember a single thing by the scent, by the taste, by the view, whatever it is, the wind blowing against your face, all these different little things. Your brain records these things, and it also erases a lot of things. So everything that you don't think is important, it erases. That way it can make more room. That way you can just keep going with your day, and that way you can remember more important things. Maybe if you're trying to learn something new, it'll remember those things if you set a priority on it. And your brain is just so amazing. I love looking at the science of a brain and how it works and how we think as people. And it's really fun looking at it like that because there's so much going on all the time. And it's really hard to keep track of what your brain is thinking about, what your brain is really understanding. And literally everything that you see is what your brain thinks it looks like. So my phone could be red. Yeah, it is red. It's a product red phone. But it could also be blue. See, your brain perceives everything differently from the way other people perceive things. I know someone that can only see in black and white. It's like, what? That's nuts. How can you only see in black and white? How do you not see any color at all? And how do you even explain a color to someone that doesn't know what color looks like? And that's a weird question all in itself. But your brain works so fast that it's trying to compute everything that it's receiving. And it's trying to compute it at a level where it's also trying to regulate your body. It's trying to regulate your heart rate. It's trying to regulate your breath. How many times you breathe during a little conversation. I mean, I love how fast your brain thinks because it runs your whole body. It runs your stimulated reactions with your fingers, your hands, whatever I'm doing. I just have so much brain activity that I'm talking with my hands. I'm also talking with my face, all the facial features, everything that I'm doing is just what my brain is thinking. And your brain thinks so fast. I love looking at the science of a brain and how it works and how you perceive things and psychology. Psychology is so important to me, and I look at it as such a deep level. Even though I've never taken a psychology class, I understand a lot of psychology. Mostly just through visualization. I believe empathy has a great part in it because I can feel empathetic towards people because I have a high EQ. I understand psychology on a different level than other people understand it. I understand it to a greater extent. And I understand people at different levels. I understand why you would do something if I know how you grew up. Does that make sense? Maybe it does. I'm so self-aware about myself that I can be self-aware about other people and why they do different things if I learned exactly how they grew up. I'm that good with people. I'm that good with understanding people. If I know your whole history of how you grew up and different things you did when you did them, I know exactly what you're going to think when you see a certain thing. And if I don't exactly know that specific thing, maybe it's a small little thing that I don't get. Maybe that's because I didn't read that detail of your life. And I like looking at life like that. I like looking at people's minds like that, and diagnosis of how people think and react. I'm a very interesting person. I speak as if I am a scientist. I speak as if I'm a psychologist, but I'm not. I've never studied psychology in a literal scholar sense. I've only studied it as far as looking at other people and visualizing what they're doing, looking at myself and visualizing what I do. And that makes me a professional, to be honest. I mean, what is professionality? Professionality is being understanding of everything that you know in that field. I understand why I sleep certain ways. I understand why I dream certain things. Psychology is something that I just understand. I love psychology. I love how fast the brain works, and I love how it works in general. It's interesting. It's a machine. We are machines in a general sense of mind. We are machines, although we are a very fluid machine. We adapt to our environment. A machine, it just stays doing exactly what it does, and it doesn't evolve. It just stays the same. We are fluid. We are like Play-Doh. We can mold into what we need to be to get a task done. Psychology is so interesting, and I would love talking about it even more in many more episodes that I have, because it's such an interesting topic to me. I love psychology. I hope you guys really enjoyed this episode. I know I could go on forever about psychology, but I really can't, because I only have 14 minutes to talk in this episode. I hope you guys really enjoyed this episode. I know I did, and I will see you guys tomorrow, and I hope you have a great day.